Welcome to our Healing Manifest podcast, the one true place for you to becoming your best self. Each week, we're going to be bringing on a new guest who will have their own tips and ways for you to learn how to become your best selves and ways you can help transform. Today, we have a guest here, and I had to make sure that I wrote out a really good intro for you because this is someone who really deserves it. So, here we are. So today, our guest is a fashion designer, photographer, and videographer. He has had his designs displayed on runways such as 6 p.m., shot professional events such as CanFAR, Canadian Foundation for AIDS Research, and Canadian International Fashion Festival. By the time this episode is going to be out, he'll be wrapping up his first manifestation. Please welcome our guest, Justin Agyarko.
Thank you so much. That was an amazing intro.
Thank you.
Can you just repeat it again? I'm joking.
Hey, I wouldn't mind,
Yeah.
You've done a lot of great work, and I think first and foremost, let's explain to the guests your event, the manifestation. Let us know about it.
Okay, so manifestation, as the topic itself says, it's an event where we invite people to come and manifest with us. So it's a vision board party where we're putting together, where each participant comes, gets stuff like arts and crafts and images to put together on a vision board. So you're coming to manifest your best self. You're coming to manifest what you want to do in the next 3 months, 6 months, year. So that's what we're pushing for. So anyone that is coming to show their best self, be their best self.
And is it going to be one big vision board for as one unity, or everyone's going to have their own vision board?
Everyone's going to come work on their own vision board.
And it's like you're going to be building a community from that because there's going to be people who are going to realize they have similar vision to this other person. Yep. So it's a very great idea, honestly, I think, that you came up with there.
Thank you.
What made you come up with this idea to do this event?
Oh, credit's not even for me. Thanks to my amazing team. So I actually got a grant from C Toronto, which is an organization for Black youth. And the first event I did was a photography workshop where I was able to have people come and I taught the basics of photography, lighting, alongside my partner, Shannon. Okay. So that was the first workshop. And I wanted to do two things with the grant. So even though we were tight on time, but we were able to pull it off. So this second event is the part 2 of getting the grant. Okay. Yeah.
And honestly, I think people need to understand, first and foremost, to get a grant and to host an event, it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. So for you to get that, it shows that there's someone that believed in your process just as much, if not as much as you do. So it's a lot of work. So congratulations to you for it.
Thank you.
So I want to introduce everyone. So the way I met you, actually, I met you at one of the runways where you had your African mirror, your line that you were doing there. You had a runway you were doing, and I met you at that runway and became really great friends after that from there. Sure. And I'm actually wearing the turtleneck that you helped me design here today. So walk us through your journey in being a fashion designer.
So honestly, the whole process of me becoming a designer started from when I was young. So the whole idea was African Mirror, the name itself, generated from a conversation with my sister and I. We were probably between the ages of 10 to 15. And we're like, one day we'll make a company called African Mirror.
Wow.
So that is an example of manifestation.
So it's just one of those things that happened. And I actually wanted to bring up because one thing that I found very interesting, I actually did not know this because I remember when I saw your designs that you had, they had like little reflections on the fabrics. Yeah. It's very unique. It's fabrics I've actually never seen, and I've never seen emulated ever since. Can you explain for the guests as well how you went about finding this fabrics and how it just happened to land on you to get such a design?
So being from Ghana, that kind of takes part in everything I create. So when I'm looking for fabrics, I'll say I look for fabrics more than designs. Designs just come to me. So I kind of scout out for fabrics. I have a lot of different suppliers, places I go to. So I pretty much like go all around. Some of the fabrics I've used, a lot of from Ghana, but I've used fabrics from East Africa, as well as some from mostly West Africa. So any fabric I look for, I go around different places, look at what kind of speaks to me based on the color and mood that I want to go for, and those I implement those into my designs to bring something forth.
And honestly, it really shows. Like you really bring a whole culture into it, and
Yeah,
the work that you put in then to get the fabrics over from Ghana,
yeah,
bring those over to Canada,
yeah.
make
It's
those
a
designs. You
process.
really, so then it sounds like you knew your vision. You
Yeah,
put the vision through, and you said whatever it takes to get that vision put through,
yeah,
you made it happen.
definitely.
And I think it's one of the things, and I take a lot of inspiration from your fashion. The hat that I have
Thank
on
you.
here, it's inspired by you
You
as
know,
well. So
it
you're
wasn't
someone.
even planned. It wasn't even planned.
I got this because I seen you in a post wearing it, and then you came
Nice.
and you had it today. I was like, you need to wear
We
it
have
right
to
now.
do it. We have to do it.
So, as someone who I honestly respect as a face of fashion within Toronto, what are for someone who's very fresh to working on their wardrobe,
Yeah.
what are some advice that you would have for them?
First of all, be yourself. Honestly, the way I started fashion, growing up in Ghana, I was always this young guy. Not young. I was this small guy among like taller people and stuff. So anytime I step out, people would look at me. And that is kind of what started my fashion career in a sense. Because anytime I stepped out, people would look at me. I'm like, if you're going to look at me, I might as well look good.
Yes.
And that's how it all started. I would go to tailors, learn how to sew while they're doing their own thing. I'll literally kick them off the table and be like, yo, show me how to do this. And that's what kind of started piquing my interest. So even before I got into college and started my clothing brand, in Ghana, I started to like work with tailors and alter my own clothing. Because anywhere I would go, I would have to make like my clothes fit better. So that's what got me into fashion.
It's interesting because I always say, and even for my own listeners, that
Yeah,
the way you dress, your fashion is like your own art piece. You are
exactly.
yourself an art piece that you're
Yeah,
showing out to people. So the way that you present yourself is how people approach you, and you are
exactly.
literally manifesting and you're vibrating a frequency out for people based on
Yeah,
how you dress. And
true.
you made sure that you did that in your way. It's almost like you knew that,
Yeah,
and you said, "I'm gonna make sure how I look is tailored to how I want to look," and it was very
true.
important you did that. So,
Yeah.
in terms of as well, how when you were doing that and you're putting your image out there, how did you balance, say, even like colors, fabrics, things of that nature together?
Yeah. So based on the brand, my brand is all about the motto is so African mirror, look into the mirror and see your reflection. So anything I do is not only based on culture, but it's based on who I am as a person. So anyone I even design for, I look at that person as a whole to kind of gain or get inspiration for what I'm making.
Okay, okay.
So that's the basis. So for my colors and stuff, I'm all about like vibrancy, and that's why even if I use a blank color like a black or a white, I always put like details of color somewhere. And that is what kind of makes me because everything I do is bright. I could go out in all yellow.
Yes.
I could go out in all orange. Because anywhere I go, I like to, even though I like to be subtle, but I also like to pop with color. So that's who I am.
It's like with that pop, it's you make sure your presence is known, but like you
Yeah,
said, you're able to do it in a way that still has some modesty with it. So it's like
exactly.
your presence is felt,
Yeah,
but it's like I'm still someone that's reserved, and it's very
yeah,
genius how you think about that, and that's where I do think everything that's worn
yeah.
there is an intent with it.
True.
Now, again, because with you bringing that up as well, and like I said, with the designs that you have as well before, for any designers or stylists who are watching this right now,
Yeah,
a lot of them, they see like they're trying to work this balance of being unique but maintaining a sense of timelessness with their designs.
yeah.
How have you figured yourself to focus on that balance to still maintain a modern touch, but at the same time, you make it unique in your own way?
So what I'll say is, apart from doing research as to what trends are going on, I've always pretty much been myself. Because one thing I learned is being timeless is it's a bit about being yourself, but also understanding what is out in the market. So a lot of my designs, as you know, I started with like streetwear, but I wasn't really into the whole printing aspect of designing. So even though I have a few prints, but anything I make would have like a sleeve of print on it.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
sometimes I'll choose colors and patterns that are not only like African, but I'll find patterns that complement like a certain aspect of creativity where like it could be all black with a sleeve of print, and that alone makes it stand out where it wouldn't draw a lot of people away, but it'll actually bring people in because they're like, oh, this is different. It's not too much, and that makes it timeless.
And I think that is a very what you focused on, and for people who are looking as well, fashion themselves, fashion other people, you really find this balance of bold, solid colors
Yeah.
with patterns. Because a lot of times we do see people, they do too many patterns. You might have one
Exactly.
pattern happening here, one pattern happening over there, and
Yeah.
yes, these patterns might be an expression of you,
Yeah.
but what you really want at the end of the day is that pattern to stand out.
Exactly.
Because that one pattern is a sense of you that you really want to show out, as opposed to it just feeling like it's there.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate how you balance the color with the patterns at the same time. Have you ever looked at patterns and colors and said, okay, these are things that may not fit there, let's filter this over here? Or do you think it just came naturally to you of what colors are going to work with what patterns?
There are definitely times where I've kind of shifted stuff around, and I play with shapes a lot because when I was younger in school, I also did like pre-technical drawing, so that also plays into me designing stuff sometimes. Because the first outfit I ever made, funny enough, I sat down for 6 hours on my bed from 12 a.m. I cut fabric. I actually measured it. So that time I didn't know how to draw patterns. I didn't know how to like sew necessarily. I was still learning. But I cut out, like, I drew out the measurements of the shirt I wanted to make. I cut it out and I sat down on the bed hand sewing it.
Wow.
And funny enough, that's my favorite shirt up to date.
And so you did that at, like you said, 6 years old?
No, I did it for 6 hours. Like
6 hours,
yeah,
my apologies.
Yeah, I sat down on the bed for 6 hours hand sewing that shirt.
Wow.
So
And you pretty much you made your own first shirt right there.
Yeah.
So this is something that it's been a passion for you. You took a passion
Yeah.
and you said, I'm just gonna keep working on it and rolling with it. And I want to actually take that and segue a little bit because you have a very interesting journey. So you're someone who you focused a lot on the fashion side, but from the fashion side of things, you developed into having photography and videography. So for those who are looking at themselves, their journey, they're getting frustrated on it not being linear to the path they saw, explain your journey for them.
Okay. So I started my clothing brand officially in 2015.
Yeah.
And I took a break in 2020. So that period from 2015 to 2020, I started my clothing brand immediately I entered college. And funny enough, I did not study fashion.
Wow.
My background in school is computer science.
Wow.
So during the process, like computer science is a lot, fashion is a lot. They're two separate careers. So in the process, I learned a lot, grew a lot, helped a lot of people, learned a lot in the process. And 2020 December, I decided to take a break from sewing, but not fashion as a whole. So right now, I don't necessarily sew, but I still work with like brands. Like what I'm wearing right now is a design that I worked on with a brand that's in Calgary. So that's one of the partnerships I have going on.
What's the name of the brand, just so people
So the
can
brand
know?
is called Sinners to Saints.
Sinners to Saints.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do a lot of the design work. We do denim. We have a lot of cool designs, which I'll show you in the end. But I decided to take a break from sewing because it was a lot for me at the time. So who knows? I might get back into it in the next year or two. But I found a good passion for photography, and it's the same. It's about the art form, because I like to express myself. It's all about the creativity. And working with my good friend Shannon, she's my mentor, and she got me more and more into photography. Because the first time I went into the studio with her in Seneca, we were doing a brand photo shoot. And I was like, you know what? You're the photographer, but go model and let me take the pictures. And that's kind of what got me into like the whole like photography,
Yeah.
Because I realized I had an eye for it, and she said like the more you develop your craft and work towards your storytelling, you'll get better and better. And that's what I did up to now to get me to where I am.
And what's interesting with it, and something that explained a lot, is you know what your strongest passion is in.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop you from having hobbies, learning new things. And from learning those new things, it sounds like you created value for people around you. And from creating that value for people around you,
Sure.
you ended up getting further opportunities.
Yeah.
So walk us through, especially for people who they might be getting frustrated right now that maybe they're not getting gigs where they want to, maybe they're not seeing things work out for them. Walk us through your journey of getting your place on getting photography placements on things such as Canif or Canfar.
So number one, network. Honestly, I'm very grateful. A lot of my gigs and connections come from fashion.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do in life, make the connections you make in the beginning, foster them, let them grow. Like, even if you haven't spoken to someone for 20 years, that person could be like, that could be the person that will push you to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So even like always keep those connections, and I mean always say hi, like let them know what you're up to, because even if they don't help you, you might be able to help them, and you helping them will come in about, like it'll come again and help you.
Yeah.
Because karma, like it comes, like it's a cycle of progress, positivity, growth. So that's all.
And it seems like what a lot of us do forget with what you're saying there is
Yeah.
a lot of us who are hustling, a lot of us, we want nothing more than to, of course we want to make money, of course,
Definitely.
but a lot of us, we want to just be needed.
Yeah.
Or have someone that can help us out.
True.
So with how you've been able to branch, it sounds like you're someone who you took the relationship that you had and you're like, okay, I may not be able to do this for this person, but I can help in this way.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because we met a long time ago and we were able to work together a lot, but this is our first time in person together since we worked on the turtlenecks. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago now. And you're the person who actually, you broke that time period apart of communication. You just messaged me. You're like, hey, I'm looking to have this thing done here for my sister. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
And that actually did something for me. And I was actually very happy inside that I got to hear from you again.
True.
Because a lot of people that we don't hear from like 2-3 years ago, and we just think, well, the relationship's lost. But like, if you have the mindset that the relationship's lost,
then it is.
Then it's lost. So I guess I really appreciate you being here today. Definitely. And I feel like we got a lot of great knowledge out. And I want you, if you were to have, for starters, with fashion, again, for people looking to use that, not more so for themselves. Yeah. People who want to grow and become more excited out there, really want to have more of a presence. How much would you say fashion is going to be able to help them with that? What's your advice, and how would you say it helps them?
What I'll say is, first of all, dress how you want to be addressed, because I think that's one thing that has really catapulted me in my career. Anywhere I go, even if I'm going to a laundromat, like I won't just dress anyhow. Like I'll make sure at least, like, even if I'm wearing sweats, I'll have like a good like combo of exciting colors, or like even if it's gray, like I'll wear some nice shoes and like a nice simple chain, like accessories. So anywhere you go, no matter what you're doing, dress presentable. And that, you never know who you're inspiring. Because one thing I learned was, especially from Instagram, there were people that were always on my page but never liking or anything. But there's one person that DM'd me after 2 years of watching my stories and never commenting, and they were like, I see what you're doing, you're such a great inspiration, keep doing it.
And I think a lot of people, when they get mixed up, they see like, all of us, we really want to get the algorithm boost, but we don't realize how much people we're inspiring at the same time. And we could get frustrated, like, what? watching my stories.
Right.
You never call. What is this? But you don't realize this person's probably watching, and their way is just to look at it and be like, "Oh, nice," right? And sorry, I really wanted to touch on something you said there because I really like how you talked about the accessories part.
Yeah.
If you were to take one accessory
Yeah.
and be like, I could only leave my house and have this one accessory, what would it be?
Honestly, I love my chains. I love my chains.
Honestly, like a chain, I find is something that it can take. You could take the most simplest outfit,
Yeah.
but that simple necklace or a chain just brings it up that extra bit.
Way up. Way up.
I appreciate that. Now,
Definitely.
and last thing before we send you off, I just want to ask you just to bring it back around to your manifestation event.
Yeah.
How do you go about your manifestations? How big do you believe in manifesting, and how do you go about reaching that goal?
Manifestation, I speak to myself a lot. Like self-encouragement, looking into the mirror, speaking words of affirmation, it goes a long way. Writing, like taking notes, vision board, I haven't done it. I haven't done a physical vision board before, but I do. I have like a Pinterest board where I gather like all my inspirations. So taking pictures of stuff you aspire to have, having pictures of people you aspire to be, writing quotes of things you aspire to do. All those little things come together to make a bigger goal. So like that's my process of manifestation. Let's say I want to be on stage with Drake. I'm a photographer. In order to do that, networking, manifesting, like speaking into existence, making the right connections, because work without, if you don't work, like you don't get results. So you manifest, you work, you make the connections, like you take all the steps that will lead you towards your goal. And that is what manifestation is. Because if you manifest without the process of like going to do the work, it's just a word. It's like telling someone I'm gonna come and that's it.
Yeah.
If you don't go, or if you don't even make an attempt, there's not gonna be any result.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
And it sounds very much, it's like that vision board.
Yeah.
It helps you move with intent.
Exactly.
And it helps you say, okay, like let's use that example. Like you said, if I want to shoot for Drake,
Yeah.
I need to present myself. There's a way Drake presents himself. I need to be looking at that way of presenting myself.
Yeah.
And you look at that vision board and you might look at yourself and be like, okay, am I presenting myself with a business model that would attract this energy?
What should I do differently? How should I step out? What should I wear? How should I talk?
Yeah.
Because sometimes what you say to someone could draw them in or like push them away. So even like things you say, if you're always saying negative things, what's gonna come of it?
Negativity.
Exactly. So it's those little things, like every little detail counts. Every little thing you do comes together to form that bigger goal. So like manifestation is just a collage of small details coming together to form a big picture.
And honestly, great advice. Once again, I'm very grateful for having you here today.
Thank you.
Once again, everyone, please give it up for Justin Agyarko. Appreciate you so much. You take care.